Hello and welcome to our podcast series, Conversations with KidsPeace. I'm Bob Martin, and obviously extraordinary times call for unusual formats. You could say that we're in our social distancing podcast mode right now, as of course KidsPeace, along with everyone else really in the world, is dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. Now, one of the things that has come out of this in our world here at KidsPeace is that we've had a service for the last 20 years that really in some ways is coming to its fruition at exactly the right point. It's called teensentral.com. To talk about it, we have our good friend Jodi Whitcomb is with us. Hi, Jodi.
Hi.
She is the Director of Organizational Development and Training at KidsPeace, but more importantly for our discussion today, she leads the clinical and therapeutic team that is operating teensentral.com in this crisis. So Jodi, welcome. Let us begin right off the front. Remind folks what teensentral.com is. How do you describe the service if someone asks you, like off the top of your head, what is this?
Well, it is a website that you can also get on your phone, and when you download it and bookmark it on your phone, it really does behave like an app. Even though we don't have a separate app for Teen Central, it behaves like an app. So it's very easy for you to use right on your smart device. And there's a couple different aspects of Teen Central that are really important that people can utilize. One is that there's a lot of educational material on Teen Central that people can download and use. They can either just read it right on the app, or they can print it and hand it out to students in a school, or they can use it for, a family friend or their own child, or just for their own benefit. A kid themselves, a teenager themselves could go on there and look up a topic, find out more information about it, and maybe download a tool or something like that associated with it. But more importantly than any of those things, really, is that they can share their story. So they can go on and they can share what's personally going on with them. And within 24 hours, they will get a handcrafted response specifically from a mental health professional from KidsPeace, giving them suggestions or questions or thoughts that they may want to consider, maybe something they haven't considered before, so that they are getting a voice from someone else on the other end of the computer that is really helping them think through their situation.
And it's very easy for those young people to do this. They go on, they click on stories, it says submit your story, it's very easy, and then you come back 24 hours, within 24 hours you come back and the response is there, as you say, with inspiration and advice and some things to consider, etc. So you became responsible for Teen Central pretty much right after the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Just before the coronavirus outbreak.
Yeah.
Good timing on your part.
Yeah.
What is it about the service that you see makes it especially important as we deal with this crisis?
I think that a lot has changed for people all across the nation. And so their normal supports that they are used to relying on every day of their life have kind of evaporated in a way, or they're different. They may be there, but they're not there in the same way. They're not there maybe at the same frequency. So the normal people that kids and teens used to talk to, rely on, or even just know that they're there, like I could talk to them if I wanted to, right? My coach is there. I could talk to him or her if I wanted to. My guidance counselor is there. I could go there if I wanted to. Maybe I haven't, but I could if I wanted to. Those resources are no longer available right now. And so Teen Central is a place that you could go right now from your bedroom, from your phone, from your living room, from your car, from the backseat of your car, wherever you are, you could log on to Teen Central and say, I'm going through this. We've had a couple of stories written in today about people saying, I'm not sleeping well, people saying I'm having bad dreams, people saying, you know, I don't know when this is going to end. People saying, I'm so tired of being stuck in the house. You know, these are exactly the types of things that we never would have heard of 3 months ago, right? Or barely heard of, but they're becoming very common concerns that our young people are dealing with, but we're here to listen. We're here to listen to them. We're here to respond. But we not just with our own individual responses to them, but we also can point them back to resources on the website that we can say, hey, have you clicked on this tab? There's something really good on this tab that you could download, that you could look at, that could really help you process through this. The other thing I want to mention is that if somebody seems like they're really suffering, like really needing more immediate interaction, like not just a 24-hour response, we have people listed on our website that can give them that immediate response. And so we'll say, look, we really think we want you to put this number in your phone, maybe reach out to this crisis text line, you know, maybe give this hotline a call. Like, we're not going to mess around if we feel like somebody's really, really to the point where they need more help than we can give.
And I think it's extremely important
yes.
that we stress that the folks who are looking at these stories, making these evaluations, they are trained clinical professionals.
Yes.
They are people who deal with this in their
yes.
professional life. So, and not to say that other places don't have good people doing it, but when you are working with Teen Central, you know that it's backed by 138 years of experience
yes.
in KidsPeace and the multiple decades of experience of the folks on your team who are taking in these stories and
mm-hmm.
crafting these responses. Can you give us you mentioned a couple times, but are there other examples of where the crisis has come into play with what the young person is sharing with us?
Yeah, like a real crisis, like a pretty serious crisis.
Well, I was thinking more of how the coronavirus situation is coloring what they're saying to us.
Yes. Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that's been coming into play where kids are afraid about themselves getting sick. They're showing concern for their moms and their dads and their families, their grandparents. They're showing concern for their communities, like what's going to happen to everybody. I think there's a lot of confusion because of all of the different voices that are out there in social media that the kids are really struggling to sort through all of what they're hearing on social media, not just what they're reading, but what other kids are telling them, what their parents are telling them, what they're seeing on the news. You know, young people may not be quite as adept as sorting through. And so recently we put a What's New blog post on there that was about finding your way through COVID, that really said, look, we're really recommending that you look at, first of all, don't look at anything if you don't have to, you know, but if you really do want information, here are the websites we want you to go to. So we're hoping that kids will log on and will start to say, like, we can trust these people. We can trust that they're giving us good information. And then they can start narrowing down the information that they're letting into their minds. And I think that will hopefully reduce their anxiety, because we're seeing that again with the lack of sleep, you know, the dreams that they're sharing with us. I'm lying awake at night. If I do sleep, I'm having bad dreams. We even had one young person write in who was only 11 years old, and he told us that in the story, you know, that he's worried about having enough food to eat. You know, my mom isn't able to get the food that she needs when she goes to the market. People worried about mom and dad losing their jobs, or maybe having only, you know, a single parent taking care of them and having multiple siblings. You know, it's heavy. It's heavy. And we want to be able to provide that support to the young people out there.
You know, that blog post, by the way, everybody should read it, because no matter how old you are, whatever your age is, it's really an inspiration And it's probably not a bad idea from everybody from, 1 to 92
Yeah.
To turn off the social media, turn off the cable news every once in a while. They're not telling you anything you're not going to be able to find out sometime in the future. There are a couple other things that I want you to talk about as to new features, and I'm especially interested in this idea of the comic book.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so we found this on NPR, and it was this really clever little comic book that has a little video with it that shows you how to print it and then fold it. And what's really great about the little comic book is that it shows kids, not to be afraid, not to be so afraid of the coronavirus, but here's some ways you can really protect yourself. And I think that was what's so great, is that the things that you can do to protect yourself are really so simple. And some of the things that I have read, one of the things I do at KidsPeace aside of all of this is I do training. And when I was working on some trainings, I was realizing the simple techniques of better hygiene, what that will do to impact positively this epidemic is unbelievable. And if we can teach our young people to have better hygiene, like hand washing and like not touching your T-zone in your face, and all of that, well, this little comic book goes into that in a kid-friendly way. And so they can print that right off of Teen Central. They can use the video to kind of fold it up and keep it on them. They could make a couple copies, maybe, give them to their siblings. And I just think it was a great resource that we came across on NPR that was great to share with kids.
A lot of other good stuff on there. As we've noted before, we're devoting more resources from Jodi's group to answering the questions, so that we're gearing up, because we think there's going to be a lot of folks who need that encouragement and that advice to go forward. I want to sort of close here with something, and of course, Teen Central's been a part of KidsPeace since 1998.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered something about it. I want to get your take on this. That if you have a young person in your life, let's say a grandson or a nephew or something like that, and I thought that Teen Central would be a good thing for them to know about. What advice could you give to those adults to get that knowledge to the kids without seeming like you're too meddlesome or interfering, or I'm not going to do anything that old great Uncle Bob wants to do? How would somebody do that?
Yeah. I might give it to an older cousin or an older brother and have that family member recommend it to the teenager, because they really look up to those older family members. And I think that would be a great idea. So instead of you, Bob, giving it to your younger nephew or niece or whatever, do they have an older sibling that you could say, hey, look, maybe forward this to them, or maybe have them show it, like have older kids show it to younger kids. I think sometimes just having it, they find it on social media. So if there's some way that you can share it in the family with the older cousins, like if there are older cousins or young, like the younger, cooler uncles and aunts, like
I'm gonna let that slide.
You know what I mean? Like they can be like, hey kiddos, this is really great and I found some good stuff on it. They think those guys are cool. So I think that would be like the best way to do it, is to just share it that way.
Well, if you're cool, if you're not cool, if you're somewhere in between, I aspire to that. This is a great resource, and your group is just doing a fantastic job. Well, obviously, there's a lot of changes in how we do things in the life in the world of COVID-19, but we are going to keep some of our traditions alive. And one of them on this podcast, of course, is that we ask each of our guests to provide us a life hack. This is something that maybe gets them through the day, a favorite saying, whatever it is. Jodi, you know the drill. You've been with us before. What's your life hack today?
Well, I'm going to share a life hack I've been using the past 2 weeks because it's been a rough one for everybody, right? And so I've been trying to remember. I have this thing here. It's you probably remember these when you were little. Did you ever have one of these, Bob?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's like a timer, right? So this is like a 2-minute timer. And I put it on my desk, and when I flip it over, I take this much amount of time to stretch. So those of you that are working from home, especially, if you are, sitting at a desk all day, or if you're busy and you're feeling stressed, I would recommend putting this on your desk and letting the bubbles go and do some good stretches and get up from your seated position and make sure that you are giving your body that break. So my life hack today is to take a break once or twice, at least once in the morning, once in the afternoon, so that you're keeping yourself fresh.
That is absolutely necessary. Jodi, thank you. Jodi Whitcomb is the leader of the team that's running the therapeutic support site teensentral.com. Again, it's www.teensentral.com. Go there, check out their good work. Also, if you're on the web, we invite you to join us at kidspeace.org. You'll see a page, a special section on what we're doing in the face of the crisis of COVID-19. We talk about some of the services that we have available, including teensentral.com. If you're in the Pennsylvania, the Lehigh Valley area, we provide walk-in assessments through our outpatient services group. And if you're having someone in your family that's in crisis, you can get an assessment, get a safety plan together by doing that. You get all that information on our website. So here we are in the world of coronavirus, but we will get through this and we'll be better on the other side. So for now, we just want to say, as we always do, my name is Bob Martin. I thank you for joining us. I look forward to having you join us again for more conversations with KidsPeace. Stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you soon. Take care.